Morning, guys. On Hebrews chapter 7, reading from verse 23. The former priests, on the one hand, existed in great numbers because they prevented by death from continuing. And so the former high priests followed one another in lineage, and I think there was 80 something, maybe close to 90 high priests up to AD 70 when the temple was destroyed. And they had to keep on replacing those high priests because they died. Whereas Jesus, the perfect high priest, has never died. And so he forever continually intercedes for us. Verse 25, therefore he is able to also to save forever. And that word in the King James, to the uttermost. And in Luke 13:13 it talks about, uses the same word there for uttermost or forever, as in the context of making this woman straight. This woman was bent over with a demon, and Christ healed her completely, and she was made completely straight. And so he makes us completely right, completely straight, and saves to the uttermost, completely, forever. Those who draw near to God, there again that term, to draw near, that's mentioned a number of times in Hebrews, going back to chapter 4, verse 16, let us draw near, let us then with confidence draw near to the throne of grace. So an absolute confidence that we may receive mercy and find grace to help in the time of need. And so all of us at any time can draw near to God. That's all we have to do. We don't have to sacrifice. We don't have to do any major task. We just have to come to God and draw near to Him. And He will be there. He is always interceding on the right hand of God the Father. And 1 Timothy goes on to say, in verse 25, draw near to God through Him, since He always lives to make intercession for them. And so there's something in the world and in the religious system that always makes us try put our hope in something else. And so these Hebrews would have trusted in Moses. They would have put their hope in Abraham, put their hope in the angels to intercede, put their hope in the high priest to intercede for them. But as we learn, the high priest was never sufficient, never ultimately effective to do that. And so we've got to be careful. There's only one person who can intercede for us. In 1 Timothy 2 verse 5 it says, there is one God, there's one mediator between God and men, the man Christ Jesus. And it's only Christ Jesus who we can trust as our complete and sufficient intercessor. Verse 26, for such a high priest became us, who is holy, harmless, undefiled, separate from sinners, and made higher than the heavens. Holy, harmless, undefiled, absolutely perfect, absolutely holy, completely separate from sinners, not tainted by sin at all, perfect sacrifice, made higher than the heavens, higher than the angels, higher than the high priests. This perfect high priest, perfect sacrifice, is the one who we trust for our salvation. Verse 27, who does not need daily, like those high priests, to offer up sacrifices, first for his own sins, because the high priest was sinners, and then for the sins of the people, because this he did once for all when he offered up himself. And so it's a once for all sacrifice. It doesn't have to be repeated. We don't have to keep going to a priest today to have that priest intercede for us, to pay penance for us. We go to God trusting in that once for all sacrifice of Christ. Verse 28, for the law appoints men as high priests who are weak. So it's a weak, inefficient system. But the word of the oath which came after the law, which was, remember in Psalm 110, there was an oath, appoints a son made perfect forever. Perfect son, perfect sacrifice, once for all, and a sacrifice that lasts forever and ever and ever. What a marvelous teaching, what a marvelous truth to hang on to this morning. Amen.